Thank you, Chair. And thanks for the great introduction. And my paper, I just rescheduled my position actually, and I'll be first speaking on this theme regarding the great problem we are having in radicalization. During the initial discussions, you completely outlined the focus of this this seminar, and I know there are other issues we can debate during the whole session regarding what is radicalism and like if it is Islamic radicalization or Naxal radicalization, left-wing extremism, etc., etc. But my theme of this today is means and modes for spreading radicalization, which is the channels and the means and the way the people get radicalized. The topic is quite it is complicated, but the way towards violence radicalization or individual getting into that mode are diverse and difficult to distinguish. It is always difficult to distinguish between a radicalist individual or a potential terrorist. There is a thin red line in between. And we all know how the two leading jihadi organizations of the world right now, Al Qaeda and so-called Islamic State or Daesh, they are carrying out their operations with a successful recruitment campaign, fundraising campaign, and their propaganda mechanism over the years. While Asian and European governments, including India and other South Asian neighbors, they are more concerned with IS outreach right now. So, of course, there are signs and symbols of IS, Al Qaeda in Indian subcontinents, more entrenched effort here in South Asia. But today's discussion, I will focus on mostly on IS activities in India and in the region and how people are getting radicalized. Various reports actually estimated in 2015 that all active jihadi groups in the region or in Levant theater have recruited over 20 to 30,000 foreign fighters. Maybe more than that, but it is quite a modest estimation. And 70% of them have joined the ranks and files of Islamic State. There are Jabhat al-Nusra and other rebel groups are fighting the Assad regime there, but Islamic State has most of the foreign recruiters right now in the Levant. We should note that the IS not only need fighters to defend its territory, and it needs radicalized individuals for day-to-day governance, administrations, and services towards its people. How they are managing it, and how they are identifying vulnerable youths across the world and entice them to join them and travel to the conflict zone in Middle East. A major medium has been identified as successful campaign is the power of virtual network or virtual world, the internet and its various tools. Of course, internet proves to be the primary reason behind online activism and growing radicalizations in the country, in India also. However, it is naive to say that the, course we have specific cases where social media or internet played a role. But online activism is not the only culprit here, because there are other way and methods one can get radicalized. Actually, that one is more entrenched and long-standing. I'll get that point later on. So why India should be worried? We have a lot of information in the media, and everybody must have known about all this development here. Islamic State has active South Asian branch in the region. It's called Wilayat Khurasan. There were symbols, there were indications that another wilayat will come merging India, Bangladesh, and part of Myanmar. It would be called Wilayat Hind, but it is still it's a speculation. Nothing clear coming out from their think tanks. And any eastward expansion of Wilayat Khurasan would be quite detrimental to Indian security. The next point, the Islamic State has developed links with existing militant groups here in India, and of course in the region. I can speak on other countries here as well, but let's focus on India here. The remnants of Indian Mujahideen, and they have tried to reach out to the Islamic State's think tanks earlier, and some of them floated organization called Ansar with Tawheed in Afghanistan or Pakistan. So there are connection growing between Islamic State and the existing militant groups and remnants, whatever you can call it. They are here in India. And last but not the least, the Islamic State's powerful social media channels that proved to be the most enticing medium for aspiring volunteers, and who are willing to serve the caliphate both as professionals and as fighters. So, what are the preferred social media for jihadi groups? Islamic State, or for that matter, other jihadi terrorist groups like Al Qaeda in Indian subcontinent, they use internet and social network tools quite profusely for four reasons: for recruitment, fundraising, propaganda, and strategic communications. With all encrypted language, they used to communicate with their potential fighters or volunteers across the world. Besides dedicated websites and jihadi periodicals like Dabek, Inspire, or other things, other magazines, regularly they publish regularly with their viewpoints, strategies, and some Twitter, through Facebook, where it can quickly share its views, and that is very secretively they can use that, and across the world they can do it within a minute. Also, IS has exploited other available platforms like Friendica, Twitter, Diaspora, and they have blogging platform like WordPress, and self-publishing site JustPest.it, and messaging platforms WhatsApp, Viper, Mixer. There are many social networking tools they are using right now. But after sudden, like the chair said, Obama is trying to bring Silicon Valley IT professionals to block, to interdict all these activities, online activities. The Islamic State just started its own messaging and video sharing app recently. They are building their own network. They won't depend on the California or somewhere else. They will be having their own IT network and social messaging and sharing applications. So coming back to India, as social media outreach here, we have a little information of the extent of the damage this internet has done to India's age-old complacency about composite culture and everything, and cohesive social fabric as well. But however, there are cases in public domain now that, and also investigations have found specific social media platforms that were on use in scouting talent for IS. As per latest media estimation, till September, a total of 13 Indian origin nationals either have traveled or joined Islamic State. And in November, there is another media report. There was another media report. It said 23 national, but I'm not sure if it's right or wrong. But I stick to this 13 Indian origin nationals fighting for Islamic State so far, whom 6 have already died during the fighting in Iraq and Syria, and nearly 17 men have been arrested or detained while attempting to leave India to join IS in the Levant. Most of these youths are educated and from affluent background and not and from various states from India. So this he is a blue bard of IS, like he's a Twitterati, and his name is Mehdi Masroor Biswas. Everybody must be aware of his activity on Twitter, and his arrest actually brought back a can of worms regarding Islamic State's activity here in India and sympathizers existing inside India. He has exposed his arrest actually exposed his network with materials defending every actions of IS, inspiring youth to spread IS ideology and urging them to join the war in the Middle East as a voluntary jihadist. He had accumulated some 16,000 followers in his Twitter handle at Sami Witness, and he has that famous line, "I am a soldier, have no regrets." He confessed during the investigations. And the lady here is Indian. She's based in Dubai, but actually is from Hyderabad. And Absa Jabin, he has claimed that she was influenced by audiovisual materials relating to IS through YouTube. But she has already confessed a lot of things about her activities and her influence, IS influence on her. And regarding YouTube, and of course, he admitted the huge novel Islamic interpretations through listening to preachers like Zakir Naik and Anjan Chaudhary, and they are all like violent and lay preachers. And she has accused of being an online recruiter who indoctrinated many through his Facebook pages with fake identity of his. And the next, this Kalyan youths recruited by IS. There are 4 people, and the youth from Kalyan is like he has returned from the war zone. He confessed to engage himself with the Dawa group in Maharashtra, and obviously he and his friends, they have engaged themselves within online chat forum before their radicalization and recruitment within IS ranks and files. If Majid's confessional statements are to be believed, he was radicalized much before coming to the Jihadi chat rooms by reading Jihadi literatures, books, listening to lay preachers like Anjan Chaudhary, and the most interesting is like he's a fan of Akbaruddin Owaisi also, and his vitriolics and all incendiary speeches. So the basic thing is means and modes. I'll differentiate in 2 categories. One is virtual world communications. The another is real world physical communications. There is no doubt that virtual world of the world of internet have played a massive role in both disseminating and enticing future radicals and terrorists of all categories. Both Al Qaeda and Islamic State resorted to online Islamic activism, and IS, of course, famed propaganda machinery and smart use of available social media applications and tools attracted thousands of young men and women, of course. The main reason for many of these youths who are traveling to join IS in Syria and Iraq is the advertised and perceived opportunities for people with the same Islamic space or worldview. So there is an advertisement from IS that please travel to Levant, you will find Islamic space and you will find jobs, everything. It is a lifestyle, livelihood decision for many of the job seekers in India as well. It's not always radicals who can travel and who can fight for them. Also fueled by the IS leader, I said that Baghdadi's call for obligatory hijrah or immigration for doctors, engineers, scholars, and specialists, etc. Broadly speaking, non-militant individuals are also invited to join Islamic State. These people are not necessarily radicalized. Another thing is the virtual dawa propagated by the internet or through the internet is also a factor that should not be overlooked. Especially young people have found their way to the websites of radical Islamic clerics like Jasimuddin Rahmani of Bangladesh and Masood Azhar of Pakistan, and there are a host of other people. They are active with their website distribution of material, including Hafiz Said. They are everywhere over the internet, and these websites are increasingly contributing to the radicalization problem. It is also not that simple to conclude that radicalism happens simply by surfing the internet or browsing the jihadi content on the websites. However, it certainly facilitates and creates opportunity for virtual social interactions, sharing very graphic details of sufferings in the Palestine or sufferings in Bosnia, and killing of children in the hands of others like Westerners or drones, everything. And there are jihadi songs also, Tarana or Nasids they call it, and anecdotal stories of battlefield heroics. All these are attractive to a like-minded individual. So these exchanges create a kind of bonding between the two within a secret chamber or secret cafeteria. And this kind of hypnotic ties actually ultimately bind the sympathizers to fight for a cause or to travel to the Levant region. And the physical world communication. While discussing about the internet and a lot of discussion on the internet, and that is the sole cause of radicalization, we are forgetting the real world communication. Actually, this is the most important part of the whole process of Islamic radicalization in India and elsewhere as well. Traditionally, mosques and madrasas play a vital role in grooming youth towards radicalization or extremism. We have enough Simi and Indian Mujahideen cases here. Don't want to repeat and don't want to reiterate all those things. And those engaged in Kashmir-centric battlefield in Kashmir or in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, they are product of this physical means too. The best example would be Lal Masjid and the Binori Mosque of Pakistan. We have plenty of them in neighboring Bangladesh as well, like Al Islamia Madrasa and Hatambag Mosque in Dhaka. And of course, we have a lot of Deobandi madrasas as well here, and other neighboring countries itself. So they are actually helping grooming or promoting radicalization process unwittingly. They might not be very serious about that, but their teaching, their curriculum, that exacerbate all this radicalization process in the latter part of their life. We seem to have ignored or overlooked this well-entrenched contributing factor for radicalization. This is the physical real-world interaction, and networks still remain a vital means for radicalization. Often a radical individual interact and influence another potential radical in person or in a group. So I would club all these activities, physical world activities, into within this broad physical category. I would like to club this unregulated madrasas like Qawmi madrasas in Bangladesh, non-violent Dawah groups. There are a couple of them. I don't want to cite their name here. And Islamic study circles, and local clerics and itinerant preachers. Oh, sorry. And of course, we cannot ignore their collective role in grooming future Friday sermons, future jihadis through their Friday sermons and distribution of leaflets, books, and CD and audio CDs for displaying at the mosque or Islamic secret conclaves and secret private meetings. So I have a couple of observations or recommendations. In fact, these are here. Both physical and virtual interaction and discussion matters relating to Puritan Islam, holy war concept, caliphate, escalatism that created opportunities and facilitated radicalization. And internet chat rooms and social media forums proved to be a jihadi echo chamber. As somebody said in the morning, that it it gives a comfort zone. It gives a certain sense of friendship within two like-minded individual chatting in a jihadi chat room or through internet. And government and agencies can promote reputed Islamic scholars and intervene through robust counter-narrative using social media to reverse radicalism and rehabilitation. It's always possible that we can use that same social media to counter for a counter-narrative against their overtures. And of course, trust building process and education, they are quite important part of our whole counter violent extremism or radicalization program. It should be there. And thank you.